This is Damien Ferry here, live for The Unshackled, and I'm at the Starward Bastion 2018 with a volunteer here. And tell us a bit about yourself.
Yeah, so I'm volunteering to help protect the cathedral from whoever wants to put some paint on it, or spray paint, or, you know, replace the statues or something like that. So that's why we're here, and it's fun, and it's a really good way to get together with like-minded people, and anyone else who wants to join can come, and that's a great way of meeting people as well.
Yeah, that's right. And I mean, how do you think that your Christian views, for instance, reflect on, like, why is it so important to come to such an event, to be able to represent your faith, so to speak?
Yeah, well, I think with the Mardi Gras, it's not just in Australia, obviously it's in all sorts of cities all across the world, and especially in the Western world. And I think we as a society are moving there. It's easy to be like, oh well, that's just them, they're having Mardi Gras and we're not, and we're fine. But we're accepting it by having it happen in our cities, by having it on our TVs, in our radio, and everywhere. We're accepting that standard that we walk past, the standard you walk past, that's the one you accept. And that's really what this is about. It's like we're actually a very small minority of people who are willing to stand. A lot of people are against this stuff, and a lot of people don't like homosexuals, a lot of people are just disgusted with it, but they do nothing.
That's right.
And if you accept the standard, you're part of the problem.
That's true. So, I mean, I guess the Mardi Gras in itself as an event, what are your thoughts on it in particular?
Well, honestly, I've never been to one. I've seen the pictures on like TV.
Yeah.
I've never actually, and I'm so glad that I can say I've never really been to one and seen it go past, and I'm just so glad that I've not been corrupted in that way against my will, really, because I think a lot of the people who go are just young, they're just having fun, they're like 18-year-olds, just out to have a good time, and that's great, and I think there are so many fun reasons to go out and celebrate, but why make it people who are harming each other in a sexual way and degrading their bodies? And it's really, homosexual sex between men is physical harm. Maybe not in every instance, but as far as I can tell, it's physical harm, let alone through the diseases that they give each other. And celebrating that, if you have a friend who's a homosexual or a relative, why would you do that?
That's right. I mean, and also, what do you think on the effect, that negative effect it has on children?
Well, children see this and they think it's funny, or they don't understand, but it just becomes a normal part of their surroundings and something they grew up with, and so it just becomes normal. They're not disgusted with it necessarily. And I'm just talking the clothing and the way of dressing and the way of talking and that kind of thing. So it's just they're trying to normalise that behaviour when really the normal behaviour should. I mean, even before this homosexual stuff emerged, it was already bad, because already you have the acceptance of heterosexual relationships that are really sexually deranged, let's say, out of wedlock, and that's just a start. This is just a continuation of that. So
where would you have, where do you think it actually started? Where do you think the moral decay actually started from?
Well, I think without it being decay, I think Northern European nations are quite liberal, and the women, you know, throughout history, hundreds of years ago, way more liberal than, say, Mediterranean people.
Yeah.
And that's really because the takeover of Northern Europe over the world through the British Empire, that's probably the start of putting those morals on a lot of different people. So that's not necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah.
But then when the cultural conflict comes, and
I
think,
would you put a certain, how can I say, was there a certain time in history, for instance, that things started to get really worse when it came to family values going down, politically, laws changing to adapt and to try and sort of, you know, go liberal and progressive?
Certainly. I'm not a lawyer and I'm not that old, so I've lived, thank goodness, not through that time. Obviously 60s were terrible, everyone knows that. Yeah. But then there's probably still better than now. And I think probably, maybe in regard to women working and having sort of financial power and embracing sort of pants and short skirts and that kind of thing, it's probably during World War II, I would say.
Yeah, that's right.
As far as I'm aware, I don't know, but that's when they started working in the factories, and that kind of idea of, oh wait, the men's jobs became so easy because it was all factories, which is only around for not that long beforehand, because the Industrial Revolution only came around. And so suddenly these jobs where women could actually do them, they're just like screwing on things and they're making stuff, they're like, hey, I can do a man's job. It made women use that made women equal, and then they had purchasing power, and a lot of the men died in the war, and so I think that's probably where.
Do you think though when women started to get into the workforce that had a negative impact on family life?
Well, they won't. I have nothing against those women. I would be the same. I would totally be in a factory right now if I was living in World War II.
Yeah.
Because my brothers would be dead, and if I had a husband, he would probably be
That's
dead.
right.
My
Yeah.
dad would probably be dead.
But if you had the choice, you would rather be like a stay-at-home person.
Yes, and they all would have. Who the hell wants to work in a dirty factory where you have to wear these awful clothes and put your hair up
and these days they do actually have that choice, but they've been, I guess you could say, led to believe that a career is better than having a family.
Yeah, it's very, very harmful. I see it all over my friends and family, and sometimes it's alright, and sometimes it just the women they pass their most attractive years studying and working.
That's right.
And then they can't attract a man, and they're like really sad, and it's really, really devastating.
And then I guess also because there's not that partnership when it comes to the gender roles, there's a lot of bickering because each person's trying to do things that they're not normally in the traditional norm designed to do. So I mean that's where a lot of arguments can come into place, and things can really get heated because a man doesn't feel like he's supporting the family anymore, so he doesn't really feel like he feels like he's replaceable because now women can do his job. Yeah.
And how's he meant to when you double the labour force by putting, and also women have children later in life, so even when they do go have families, it's later, so you have that labour force full of young women who are very capable and learn new things, and there's old men and they get fired. I mean, you've doubled the labour force by having women working.
That's right, yeah.
Men are not off in war, why are we working? Why are we not raising families and doing something useful?
Well, it is. Yeah, I mean, that's something that needs to be done because we're obviously seeing a situation where people are marrying a lot later in life, and by that stage, then they can't obviously have as many children because of that. And
the children are sick sometimes, not always.
Yeah.
Some of them are fine, but some of them are sick.
Some of them do get sick. Yeah.
And the rates of disabilities and all sorts of disorders are so much higher if you have children over the age of 35. It's not good.
At the event today, I mean, did you see anything that you would class as really, I guess, that just shouldn't be in public? I mean, that was, degenerate and out of the ordinary. I mean, and is it a double standard that these kind of things are allowed to take place like this, whereas if someone like us was to do the same, would be thrown in jail for it?
Well, I don't think any of us would be taking most of our clothes off and parading around in such a disgusting manner.
Yeah.
Like they have been today.
It's been pretty bad,
church.
yeah.
Even if you're in a foreign country and you don't believe in that faith, and you see a temple or some other religion, surely you wouldn't go there dressed totally disrespectfully, and it's obviously on purpose.
Of course.
And once again, a lot of them are just 18-year-olds straight out of school. I don't blame them. They're just like having fun, they're drunk, just idiots. And that's fine. That's part of growing up, perhaps. But yeah, some of the men were older. They were in their 30s, 40s, 50s. It was just disgraceful.
It is.
It's so sad. And maybe that's part of. I mean, look, they were wearing basically nothing or close to nothing.
Yeah.
I don't want to see it. You guys don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. No. So, I mean, why are they not home with their wives and their children? And maybe that's part of the dispossession of men. They don't have that at home.
Yeah, that's right. I mean,
they have nothing to live for.
It's really bad, the situation at hand. And I mean, what we saw today was a bit shocking. Like, it's been worse this time around than it was in other years. That we had a lot of people,
I've never been, so.
Yeah, in other years it was a little bit more quiet, but this time it seemed like they were really, I guess, especially because of them winning the vote. I mean, do you think that takes the whole irrelevancy also out of doing a street parade when they basically have all these rights that, even though they, it wasn't that they were ever oppressed, but I mean,
they all have the same rights as everyone.
That's right, but they've all got these extra rights now. So really, why would they have to continue to do these protests? Marches?
People I know have voted yes. They said, well, why do you vote yes? And they said, well, because it'll shut them up and they'll finally stop and all this gay nonsense will stop. Well, you realise it's not going to happen. Obviously, we know that, but they don't know. And a lot of people, it's actually kind of positive because 60% of the vote was yes, I think, something like that.
Yeah.
But the whole overall turnout was only like 80%. Anyway, less than 50% of the Australian population voted yes. It's important to realise that. And a lot of them just wanted it to stop. and to shut up. And they do not support homosexuality. It's really not that widespread, I think.
Well, see, the thing is also to note that when it comes to the slippery slope argument, I mean, it's quite possible and realistic that there is worse to come. And the reason being that back in the 70s when it was first decriminalised, I mean, if you were to go back and tell someone in that era that one day that homosexuals would marry, they would laugh at you. I mean, it wasn't even, thought of. And,
I'm still laughing.
It's unbelievable. And I mean, the thing is that
it's not marriage. Like for us, it's
obviously not. Yeah,
anyone who has, even if you're not religious, it's obviously not marriage.
Not a marriage.
It's between a man and a woman. And
that's right.
In every culture, it's different.
Yeah, exactly.
But you're right.
But the thing is being that back then they said, oh, we just want acceptance. Then they got into street parades, promotion. They got into gay adoption and having children, which is really harmful.
From the beginning, there were pedophiles in the movement.
That's
and they
right.
Were publicly, they were advocating to be able to have access to children right from the beginning. So in a way, they have been honest. And I'm not saying they're all like that, but it has been like that from the beginning. So is it going to get worse?
Of course,
Probably,
yeah.
yes, because if you stop speech against homosexuals, and a lot of homosexuals are pedophiles, then that's a problem, because then eventually they're going to stop speech against pedophiles, and they're going to classify sort of pedophilia as one of the sexualities that you can't offend or you can't talk about, whatever. Like, they're going to silence it, basically.
Well, I mean, it's a pretty known fact. I mean, and you see it all the time that if you were to go to a person that identifies as, I guess you could say, same-sex attracted or homosexual, they do tend to say that they were abused sexually as children. Yeah. So obviously there's a pedophile and equaling to homosexual link, of course.
Yeah.
And back then, like I was saying, I mean, things have changed so much in 40 years that now you're even in the Kids channel on ABC Kids. They were promoting it as a family day event and everything, which is really sad.
Not even surprised.
I mean, you wouldn't be surprised in that. And I mean, obviously there is there's the aspect of seeing it within 40 years. I mean, like I said, 40 years ago, they just said, oh yeah, we just want one thing, we just want to be accepted, and that's it. And then after that, then they slowly started to add more things in. Then even when they wanted civil unions, they said, oh, we're happy with civil unions, we're not going to hassle for marriage, and then they wanted marriage.
Yeah.
So,
well, it's not the same people, obviously. It's always different people in generations, and they die off pretty quickly because of AIDS and other diseases. So we've always got new people coming up running these lobbies and all that sort of thing. So, fair enough. I think they're genuine homosexuals who just want to be happy and live in their partnership or whatever. I'm sure the majority of them are just normal people who have, their families and their siblings, and they just want to get on with life, and they just support this because they don't look just like.
And I mean, there's a lot of there's people that are like Marxists, communists, whatever, and that are straight, and that they actually they really bait them on and push these sort of things. And I mean, there is homosexuals out there that don't like these kind of things and that are more sort of modest individuals, but at the same time, the movement is really.
Don't say anything against it either.
No, of course. Yeah. But I mean, in saying that, then there is this element of people that are, even not homosexual, that are straight, and they continue to drive these agendas to obviously decrease family values and, push up this degeneracy and, and I mean, people can be easily controlled when, they're put in education systems, uni without.
That's the goal,
yeah.
Like the children are just taught it's normal and they'll be coerced into this kind of action. I'm sure not every teacher's going to go with that straight away, but once again, walk past standard you accept, and people are accepting that. If you're a teacher and you've done a teaching degree and you pretty much, most of them I'm sure agree with the system, because or at least even if they don't like it, they just say nothing.
Yeah, that's right.
You can't do the job. It's an indoctrination factory. And I've talked to people who study teaching, and they always say it, and if they don't say it, it's because they're Marxists.
That's right.
They're on the far left.
Yeah.
They're really lovely people, they're just on the far left.
Yeah.
This is how it is. I think as a society, where we have less children, obviously, we're not having as many children, and maybe if you don't have a child, you don't care about other children, and we're just throwing them under the bus and going, well, this is more important. It's more important, basically, to us as a society overall, what a bunch of homosexuals who are sexually deranged and are hurting each other in those relationships are doing, then the future of our own children.
And then you have all the programs like Safe Schools and all the gender fluidity. You know, they're really dumbing down people so they can be easily controlled and be enslaved, really. I mean,
and they're the ones most likely to become gay or transgender or some sort of...
Well, I mean, if a 4-year-old boy chooses to play with a Barbie doll, they want to change his gender straight away without even thinking that maybe he just wants to play with a doll.
It's like there are girls who are more boyish and they act more boyish, and there are boys who are a lot more girlish and do more girl
And it's
stuff.
not a gender issue.
Most of the time, it turns out fine. It's okay to grow up a boy who's a bit more interested in female things and in girly things. It's alright.
Yeah.
You can still find someone you like. You don't have to. And I always think this too when I talk to friends who are like, oh, I'm not attracted, blah blah, or I can't get a girlfriend or a boyfriend. It's like, that's alright. You just have to find one. You're fine. Just one person, and just be with that one person, and you're sweet. You don't have to like every single girl. You just have to like one.
That's
woman.
right. And what do you think we as citizens, since we can't really rely on politicians, I mean, what can we do to get out there and voice our concerns and make a stand for all these things that are happening?
Well, as just normal people, just say what you think. Obviously, inform yourself. Read the stats. Think about it. Think about the future of your children or your family's children or your friends' children or whoever, and just speak out. And I mean, in every role you have in society, as a mother, as a father, as a sibling, as a colleague at work, as a friend, as a guy who goes to the pub with his mates, speak out. Name it, because a lot of the time your friends and colleagues and family members think the same thing you think.
That's
They're
right,
just too scared to say it. I've said a lot of things that most people would never say, and I've lost very few friends.
Yeah.
And I've gained amazing friends who I know I can talk to and trust.
That's right. And I mean,
amazing.
Lastly at all, I mean, do you think that we should ban the Mardi Gras?
Depends what... Should the government ban it, kind of thing? Like, should the politician who comes into power ban it?
Well, yeah. Should we not have this actual street parade?
Of course we shouldn't have it.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be banned by like the authority top down, and people are like, hey, I want to do this, and they're like, no. I almost think like no. I would prefer it goes from the bottom up. If like the people basically don't allow it, we need to get people together, block it, stop your daughters from going, stop your sons from going, tell your children that it's bad, stop on a grassroots level, and then it'll trickle up hopefully to the politicians. I don't even believe in this top-down stuff. I don't feel comfortable saying that.
Yeah. I mean, or at the very least, if they wanted to do something, to have it in a private venue where children and all that wouldn't be able to be subjected to it. So it's in an enclosed arena, and then at least that way people can choose to go to it, but it's not the case that it's on the street as such and it's in public.
Yeah, and if someone goes, like, obviously I'm not talking about an 18-year-old girl who's like, having fun, like, not like that, but if you know someone who goes, who's in their 20s or 30s or whatever, shame them, call them out, tell them in front of everyone, if your cousin went, tell in front of the whole family, say, this guy went to Mardi Gras, can you believe it?
Yeah.
You know, what kind of disgusting things is he doing? Don't let him touch the children.
That's right.
Shame them. If there's your colleague, if you've got someone that you employ that goes, if you can fire him, I'm sure you'll find a good reason.
Yeah.
You know, so that kind of thing. Shame the people around you who do that. It needs to be from the population upwards.
Make sure that a moral standard is introduced back into society.
And if there's a show where there's a homosexual portrayed in a positive light, and it's really obvious, and it's for children or for young people especially, turn it off.
Yeah, that's right.
Walk away. Don't buy it.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, thanks for having the interview with us. It's been great,
Yeah,
and just thanks for your support in coming out here and doing your bit to be concerned and voice your opinion. And it's great having you here.
Yeah, it's been fun, and it'd be fun if more people join. That'd be really, really great.
Oh, well, maybe next year.
All right.
Thanks.
See ya.